It has come out recently that FIFA seem to be in a bit of trouble again, but this time it is to do with the changes that they have made to the Club World Cup. So overall, FIFA have actually been threatened with legal action from the players' organisation over the changes to the Club World Cup. So to get straight into it, going into what has actually happened, there are two organisations that are involved in this. So FIFA Pro and the World League organisation have sent what is quoted as a strongly worded letter to FIFA about this. This is regarding the extended schedule of the Club World Cup, which is starting in 2025, so next year. And the argument has been made that the decision to extend the Club World Cup will have adverse consequences. So some of these consequences will include the harm to the domestic leagues and also a higher risk of injury because of the schedule. So the harm to the domestic leagues means that more games will have to be rescheduled, and especially in the Premier League there seems to be quite a few rescheduled games each year. So adding more games to the calendar means that there's even less space to actually play the games, so they might even have to extend the season a bit longer if it gets bad enough. And also the higher risk of injury is obvious, especially with more games being played, because there are a lot of games played in a football season, even for the teams that don't go far in the cup competitions and for the teams that don't get into Europe. So the risk of injury is an obvious one, and sometimes injuries can get bad for teams as well, and teams are sometimes stretched quite thin on their rosters, so if they do manage to get into this competition, then that could get even worse. They have also accused FIFA of prioritising their economic welfare over the players' welfare. And the letter also calls for FIFA to reconsider the scheduling of the competition. So for that last bit, I'm not entirely sure if any propositions have been made or if they've just asked FIFA to reconsider the scheduling. And I don't really know, it doesn't really say anything specifically whether the competition should be shortened, whether there should be less teams actually in the competition. That's literally all it says. So the two organisations that are doing this, FIFA Pro and the World League organisation, have actually sought legal advice on this, and they could be open to litigation if FIFA does ignore the demands. So alongside this, it doesn't look like they would have to go that far, because it looks like FIFA do actually want to talk to them about this. They do want to open some sort of dialogue to resolve this, and obviously FIFA really wouldn't want this to go to court and for all of this to really come out to the entire world, even though it's probably going to come out to most of the world anyway. But it would be better for FIFA to end this as soon as they can, because this literally makes them look so bad, due to the fact they are obviously prioritising the money over the actual player welfare, and without the players they don't make the money. So yeah, it is a smart move from FIFA to actually open up the dialogue and talk about this, but the problem is we don't know how far each side is willing to go, and obviously we also don't know if this dialogue will get us anywhere. Hopefully it does, because the less things like this we have, the better. So the actual current Club World Cup, what will be happening with this? So the competition will actually still be around, and this new format coming in won't actually be replacing it as a new format. It will be a separate competition. So you'll have this new one which is being called the Club World Cup, and then the old Club World Cup will be named the International Cup. I know that sounds a bit confusing. It confused me a bit when I first saw it, but obviously, so the current one will be changed to the International Cup, and then this new format will be called the Club World Cup. So this one will, well, the current one will still take place in December with one representative from kind of like each continent, as it usually is. However, FIFA Pro have advocated for the current Club World Cup to actually be scrapped, and this is because they see it as redundant, because obviously you've got this new format that FIFA are bringing in, and if FIFA are bringing in a new format, then they clearly like this format better, so they see it as redundant, and it could potentially harm player welfare as well, because obviously that's even more games added onto the schedule with this new one. And I thought honestly they would just get rid of the original Club World Cup or replace it with the new one that they're bringing in, but for some reason they want to keep this one. So the new Club World Cup format literally just goes like this. So it will take place in June, July of 2025. That will be the first iteration of it. Then there will be 4 groups of 8 teams, so 32 teams in total, which I think the one currently now has like 5 or 6 teams, something like that. So this is a much bigger competition, and it will be, after the group stage, it will be a single match knockout, so they won't be having 2 legs. There'll just be one game and then decides whether you're through or not. And then from 2025 it will then be done every 4 years, so literally like the World Cup is actually done. And obviously with 32 teams you've got a lot less continents than 32, so from Africa, Asia and North and Central America there'll be 4 teams that qualify. Then from Europe there'll be 12 teams that qualify. Then from Oceania there'll be 1 team that qualifies, and then from South America there will be 6 teams that qualify. So overall, with this new format, it's a nice idea, but I think the problem is there are really too many games in the season already, and teams already have to rotate their squads as well. So that's what, another 3 group games, and then at least another 3, maybe 4 knockout games alongside that. So that's what, another 6 games added to the season that the teams don't really need, and it's not like the fans were asking for this as well. So unless they are going to completely scrap the usual Club World Cup, or what it will be called now, the International Cup, this is really redundant, and I think that they should just stick with the usual format. And if they want to make any changes, they shouldn't be like all of these big changes, like making it a 32 team tournament like the Champions League, and then obviously holding it every 4 years. I don't think that is such a bad thing. It's more like the extra games that are put on top of this. So overall, I don't think FIFA will have any legal action done against them, because honestly I do think that they will settle this with the 2 organisations that wrote that letter. So overall, I think that this will probably blow over quite quickly. They'll kind of come to some sort of median here, and I think this will get solved quite quickly. So that's just me going over FIFA being threatened with legal action over the Club World Cup. I found it quite interesting to see that these organisations are actually taking action against FIFA to stop them really just piling on the games in the seasons for the players just to make more money. However, like I said, I do think that this will roll over quite quickly. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. Do you think it's a good idea for this Club World Cup, or do you think that this is just going a bit too far considering the schedule and the schedule that the players do usually have? Let me know all about that down in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like, and also if you like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. So yeah, thank you for listening to the video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.